Okay, so a couple videos ago I mentioned how I have not had a good pepper game this year. And I gave a few reasons why. I think it had to do with those pots I had them in, the soil that I used to plant the peppers in, and plus just the heat here in Texas. I should have had shade cloths up and all that. But upon thinking more about this, I'm going to do a different type of soil. Now I've got a lot of the seeds in there and the starts, they're starting to put on size, so it's time to up pot them. So I thought I'd share exactly this new soil blend that I'm gonna use for up potting the peppers and the tomatoes. We'll see if it works, so hey, it's time to experiment. Okay, so I know what you're thinking. What does the soil in your up potting seed start has anything to do with once you put your starts actually in the garden? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that exact same soil around the starts once I put them out here in the garden or in the container. And why I'm going to do it this way here in the fall is just really simple. I want to try to find a soil that has a lot of benefits. And what do I mean by benefits? Well, nutrition, peat moss, so the soil stays moist, things of that nature. I realized that the soil that I used over the spring in these black pots that are out here for the pepper plants, they drained way too well. They did not hold moisture like they should. And the reason for that is it wasn't a soil that I honestly feel should have been in the pots. It's a soil that should have been in the raised beds. So that's on me. So what I want to do is find a soil blend that works perfect for not only just the upstarts or the up potting, but also for when we put them in the ground. Now again, part of putting everything out into the garden is, one, you want your garden to have been amended. So if you have not come through and amended everything, or you're just putting your starts in the garden to get them going, like you do whenever you plant something, well, if you're using the same soil or the same soil mixture, not only are you helping that plant maintain what it's used to and how it's been growing, but you're also amending your bed by putting the new soil in the bed with the start. Does that make sense? It makes sense up here. I hope I'm making sense here. Okay, so my normal ratio whenever I'm doing any kind of container gardening is about 60% compost, an organic, good compost that you feel comfortable with, about a 30% peat moss or cocoa coir, and then about a 10% Purolite. Mix that all together, and y'all, I've never had an issue with that soil mix in the containers. But I want to add more to it. And the reason for that is I want to make it even more nutritious, especially for the peppers, because peppers are heavy feeders. They need a lot of nitrogen, they need a lot of compost, they just need a lot of nutrients. So I think by doing what I'm about to show y'all, I think is going to work. But first, let me show you the starts. Okay, so as you can see, I've got my oscillating fan on. The seed starts, they're in here under the lights. They're all growing really well. I'm actually really happy with them. I use these burpees that I've shown before, and I never noticed that they had this little chart on the back of that. So I actually used it so I know which plants are what. This is really cool, really, really cool. And if you've never used this burpee system where they have these rubber bottoms here that you just push them up and you can use them over and over again until they dry rot. They will dry rot after about 3 years. I learned that. But yeah, those are doing good. Okay, now that you've seen them, I realize I keep talking about peppers. I'm going to use this soil mixture for every single plant that I up pot, or that I start from seed and then up pot before I get them out here in the garden. I think it's going to work. And I will know if it works by how everything grows. Now, I got this idea from Brian over on Next Level Gardening. He posted a video earlier this spring about how to plant cherry tomatoes in pots. He showed a formula with nutrients that I've never used before. So I did an experiment of my own, literally right here, when this wasn't here. I've been watching this channel for a while, you know what I'm talking about. I planted 2 cherry tomato plants, the exact same variety, and I used my blend of nutrients that I usually do, and then his. And his plant grew taller, put on more fruit. So we are gonna go with the Tomato King's idea on that. But I wanna change it a little bit and see if it'll work for the starts. So Chad, stop rambling, let's get to it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right off the bat is we're gonna start with a good organic soil, as you're seeing right here. Just a basic garden soil. This is a rose soil, so it's got acidity in it, which is perfect for the vegetables. Then I'm gonna add an amount of compost. I'm not sure yet what the ratios are gonna be of everything, and I will tell you what I came up with at the end once I figure it out. And then here at the end, on the basic part, I'm going to add Purolite to the mixture. I'm going to add just a little bit of the peat moss. Again, this is just to make it sure everything stays nice and moist, it's well draining, all that. What you're seeing me add in is a crab and lobster shell. That's going to give a lot of calcium to the soil. And then here at the end, you're seeing this dusting that I'm putting in here. This is a mixture of blood meal and bone meal. Again, those both are great on the NPK charts. The first 2 numbers, they're both 10. So there's a lot of nitrogen and potassium right there. And then the phosphorus is all in here also. So we've got a good mixture right here. Now it's just time to get the trays and start up potting. So before I get the transplants real quick, we're gonna water this soil mix. Now we're not gonna get it super sopping wet, but we are gonna add some water to it just to make it moist. Again, I put some of that peat moss in here, and we need the peat moss wet, because once it's wet, it's pretty much going to stay wet for the most part, to a point. I don't really want to transplant anything into a peat moss or anything that has peat moss without getting the soil moist. So I'm going to water it really quick, get it to the level I want, and then I'll get the transplants. Okay, now that is exactly how I want the soil to look. It's not sopping wet, swampy wet, it's just moist. So I went ahead and grabbed the seed starts. We're gonna do this out here just because I don't want to take all this inside. And I'm in the shade, so it's not, killing me. So for those of you that are new to gardening, and let's just say you did not do a spring garden, you were gonna start in the fall, and you've started your seed starts, this is how you do them, regardless if it's this time of year, spring, whatever. You just want to get them growing in there on a heat mat under the lights. Once they start to poke through the soil or the seed start mix, you want to get an oscillating fan on them. That way, as they're growing, just like mimicking nature, as that stem is coming up, it's moving, and the fibers of that stalk are moving, shifting, cracking, healing, moving, shifting, cracking, healing, just like they do out here in nature. That way, when you transplant them, and then you start to harden off the starts outside before you transplant them into the soil or into your beds or containers, those stems are strong and they will be able to put up with nature. So that's very important, hardening off your starts, but that's a whole nother video. So right now, let's go ahead and get this planted. Okay, so inside I made sure I knew which ones I was going to do, and I'm going to do these right here. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to show this one time. I'm going to use these styrofoam cups. I've already put the name of the pepper on here, and I've already got drain holes put in. Very important. Do not forget your drain holes, y'all. We are going to use this guy right here for in here. Now I'm going to fill it up about right there, create a little well down in the center, and then get that put in here. So, and just like that, I already put too much. Actually, no, that's perfect. So that's about what you want it to look like. Now the good thing about these burpees is, like I said earlier, they've got this plastic mesh thing right here that you just push up and pop out the plug. Nice and easy. And look at the roots. Now look at the roots that are already growing. Really good root system, y'all. Very, very happy with that. Okay. Just gonna put it in right there in the center. Press it down a little bit. I like to hold them as I put in a little bit more soil. Slowly though. Remember, these stems are super, 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 super soft. What I like to do is when I get the soil in, I like to push it down a little bit. Now just remember, you want to watch out for these stalks, so you want to go really, really slow with all this. There's no rush when up potting, because you know what, you don't want to spend all that time with these seeds, growing them, lights and all that, just to come out here, be in a rush and break them. I mean, that is not what we're trying to do here, that is for sure. But as you can see, they are pretty flexible, quite strong to a point. And that's it, y'all. I fill it up to about right there, then I'm done. It's already labeled, and we're gonna get this back in there on the heat mat under the grow lights. Now what I noticed just now is it's already putting on its first set of true leaves right there. And for those that don't know, these first leaves are from the seed. They aren't true leaves. The true leaves are right there in the middle. And this one is about to start getting its first set also. But that's all there is to it, y'all. It's really, really simple. All right, so up potting is literally that easy. There's not a lot to it. Having a good soil to move the seed starts into is very important. And that is why I went ahead and I'm rolling the dice on this mixture right here that you all saw. And right off the top of my head, I think I did probably about a 40% compost, a 20% of that organic rose mix. And then the rest were between 5 and 10% mixtures. I'm really not sure, because I was just kind of dumping as I go, looking at how it looked and going from there. But we will see, y'all. This is experimenting 101 here here on this channel, because that's what I like to do. If this fails, I will straight up own it. I'll tell y'all, hey, don't do this. This was stupid. I don't think it's gonna fail though. Now I know I probably added too much nutrients for some people out there, and y'all are gonna be like, what the heck is this dude doing? I don't know. It's in my head. I thought, why not try it? I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work. And if it doesn't, again, I'll own it. It is what it is. It's gardening. We're always constantly learning, amending, shifting, tweaking, and just going with the flow. So, yeah. All right, everybody, if y'all enjoyed this video, do me a favor, share the video, like the video, and subscribe to this channel if you've not done so already. If I have earned your subscription today, hit that little subscribe bell right down here in the bottom left corner of the screen. Hit the bell so you're always notified whenever I upload videos. And y'all, take care, God bless, continue to shine bright and harvest hard. Start getting ready for fall if you have not. I know down here in zone 9A, it's not quite fall yet because it's 96 degrees right now. That's why I'm sweating and I'm in the shade. If you haven't noticed, I have not gone in the sun. I'll talk to y'all again real soon. Bye.